Hello everybody, my name is Sniping is Fun, and welcome you all to one of my first videos I'm going to present to all of you here in 2018, and quite frankly it's a video I've been planning on doing for the last many months now, since like September or October, I forgot exactly when now, and that is that long-awaited Fire Emblem video that I want to talk about, this upcoming Fire Emblem Switch game, and basically my thoughts on it, the fan base's thoughts on what's happened to Fire Emblem. And I did a recent video on Fire Emblem Warriors talking about my thoughts on all the complaining of that and so on and so forth. So I know you guys have been waiting. I know I've stated this multiple times in videos. Oh, I'm going to bring it up. I'm planning on it for November and December and October. And, I never got around to it. New of the year started. Happy 2018 to all of you out there. And quite frankly, one of the first videos I'm bringing up is a video I should have done months ago. I've been planning on doing months ago, but it's finally here, people. My video talking about the new Fire Emblem 16 on the Switch that's supposed to release this year in 2018, unless it gets delayed to 2019 or something. I have no clue. But yeah, this is my overall thoughts on what I want to see from it. This isn't part of the 5 list. I basically mentioned in the recent video I just recorded about what list the 5 lists are coming, what I want to see in it. But this is an overview thing. This is my thoughts on what the recent, over the last couple of years, how the fan base has been in terms of Fire Emblem, the new fans and the old fans, and the complaining and the moaning and all this, from the Fire Emblem, and my overall thoughts on that and what I want to see from this game over an overall thing. Not the 5 things I want to see in specific game modes or characters or things. That's for that 5 list coming out, and whenever I bring it out in a couple weeks or so. Maybe whenever I bring it, I don't know. But this is just my overall thoughts. And you're going to tell what I'm mainly thinking about, because it's going to be the name of the title of this video. But basically, I think this Fire Emblem 16 needs to find the best way to mesh both the old and the new Fire Emblem fans together. Because quite frankly, I'm tired of all the complaining. I'm tired of the new versus old Fire Emblem fans just coming together and just going at each other. Oh, I hate new Fire Emblem. It sucks. Waifu sucks. Blah blah blah. Too much anime. And oh, you're too on the past and stuff. Both sides are at fault. I'm not gonna complain and say the old fans and the fanboys and the elitists are the only bad people in this situation. They're the worst people in this situation, but they're not the only ones. A lot of the newer Fire Emblem fans entice them and get on their bad side and do stupid crap and say stupid crap and whatever. And they're just as bad. They're not as bad, but they're close sometimes too. And I want to see Fire Emblem just overall be a fully beloved series. But as divisive as it's been with the fan base lately, it's probably never going to happen. Obviously, I'm not a long-time Fire Emblem fan to the point where the beginning of the series, because we didn't get any Fire Emblem games outside of Japan until 7, until Lynn, Hector, and Eli Wood's game. And then that was after they include Roy and Marth in Smash Bros. Melee, and then Smash Bros. Brawl and 4, and so on and so forth. And now the series has gotten a lot more popular since, it's been included in Smash Bros. Since Fire Emblem Awakening kind of revitalized the series and everything. And because of this and some of the changes that have been made to the series, even though, quite frankly, I think a lot of the elitists, the old school fans, when it comes to what they think changed the series for the worst, I think they're over-exaggerating a whole heck of a lot. I am happy, and I mentioned this before, I talked about old school versus new school Fire Emblem fans. I talked about the Fire Emblem Warriors debacle, the fan base just imploding upon itself from stupidity everywhere, complaints about what is and isn't in the game. But I am happy that Fire Emblem, a franchise I've become a fan of, I love the worlds, the characters, the storyline, the gameplay, the art styles, the music, everything about it, pretty much. I'm loving that we're getting the Fire Emblem Renaissance since they've done Awakening. Awakening came, boosted the series back to life after Shadow Dragon Heroes of Light and Shadow practically killed it, pretty much. The series was on the verge of death, people. And then Fates came, which is the most probably split game in the series, probably, even though I don't think it's that bad. Ooh, I said something controversial. People are going to hate me. I didn't think Fates was all that bad. I mean, it had problems, but it has as much problems as almost every other Fire Emblem game in the series. And what I loved about Fates was it took a new approach on, at least some sort of environment, some sort of cultural diversity. We've seen, samurai. We've seen, a lot of Japanese, feudal Japan, samurai type stuff. Fire Emblem's always been that straight up European medieval style since the first game, and it's kind of cool to see that diversity. That was one of the things I liked about it, and I think a lot of fans, I think overall liked that concept too, but I don't know if everyone did. But quite frankly, I did. And I'd like to see them do some of that diversity in future games. Maybe go for like an Egyptian style, or maybe more of a modern style, like a Advanced War style Fire Emblem would be pretty freaking cool, set like in World War II or something. That would be kind of cool. But I like where the series is going, and I like to see it change up and expand. And what I love about Fire Emblem recently is it's expanded. It's gotten a lot more popular in the Fire Emblem Renaissance, Fire Emblem Awakening. Then Fates came out with 3 games. Now we got Warriors franchise of it, which is probably even more than Zelda. I eventually mentioned, Fire Emblem Warriors. Fire Emblem is the franchise from Nintendo that is the most closely, makes sense to be a Mushu spinoff. We got Heroes on the phone game. We got the remake of Gaiden, and now we have the Switch game coming out, and the series just continues to expand. And with Fire, in terms of Smash Brothers, we now have 6 characters in Fire, for Fire Emblem representation in terms of Smash Brothers 4 versus 2 in Melee and 2 in Brawl. I love that it's expanding so much, but apparently a lot of the changes that the series have made a lot of old school fans, which quite frankly I kind of fit into that category, really mad and be elitist and the series used to be better when it used to do this and used to do this and not be that, and stuff like that. And it's like, I like all Fire Emblem. I am not going to pick sides. I'm not a very complaining person. I look for the positives and stuff. I look for what I enjoy. I do not look for what I hate from a franchise or a movie or a comic book or whatever, a TV show, video game, anime, movie, TV, anything. I'm not the complainer. I'm not the critic. I just like to find what I enjoy. And I just like Fire Emblem because every single game, yes, even Fates, has a lot of cool characters. I like the art style because, people say, it's more anime now. But at the same time, it's always been anime. No, it's not. No, it's the art style. No, when the first series first came out in 1990, the same year I was born, mind you, it had an anime art style that was of the time of the 80s and the 90s. It's always looked anime based. Nintendo's always had cartoon animation based style stuff. No matter if it looked super anime, less anime of the 80s, anime of the 70s, anime of the 90s, cartoons of the 90s, Disney, whatever. It's always had some sort of cartoonish animated style. I don't get how people say that what it looks like now. Is it because they're sexualizing stuff and doing, all the ecchi stuff and everything? And people are like, that's my waifu, and this is... People have been doing that since Makai and Lin and Celica. You don't think Japanese fans have been obsessed with these women in the series, or the women with the guys, or people that, whatever, in the series for a long time? No, they have been. It's not new. It's just more modern because a lot of anime nowadays does tend to sexualize stuff. So you see it more now because that's kind of like the anime era of today. But that wasn't the anime era so much, to an extent. There was anime like that back in the 80s and 90s. Quite frankly, there was a lot of it. But it just was kind of low-key and everything, of that time. But it represented that time. If people hate the art, like I said, I love the art side. I love the characters. I love the music. I love the tactical game. I love games that are strategy-based. That's the reason why I like Fire Emblem and RPGs in general, like, turn-based RPGs and whatnot. And I like this guy, and somewhat Final Fantasy Tactics and stuff like that, just strategy stuff. Like, I like to be strategic. Sometimes it can go a little too much where I might, not get it too much. But sometimes I at least try, and I like trying to, find games that are strategic. So, in terms of that, I think a lot of the old fans, I understand. I understand where you're coming from. This was, your series, your niche since 1990. And it was your little franchise that you can find enjoyment of. But the series, in order to have a really successful video game series, you can't just market to your niche. You can't just market to your small fan base, or you'll never expand. The same applies to comic books or movies or TV shows. You try to find the largest audience, and that might mean changing some things. That might mean expanding some things. But has Fire Emblem really lost what it meant since the beginning? Fire Emblem, since the beginning, has been about strategy, anime warriors from European history, or just war of kingdoms, like princes and everything, finding warriors, saving their land from evil neighboring nations, anime character styles with tropes, sometimes, more so now than maybe back then, but you saw them back then with Marv and everything too. I think at least the tropes kind of make characters sometimes have a little bit more character to them than being generic prince. I want to save the land, which is not a bad thing. I'm not going to say that, but you know, the awesome music and art style gameplay and it being a freaking hard as hell game. And people even complain nowadays because, oh, they make it easy. They had Phoenix mode. They had you know, difficulty settings. Sometimes people just want to get into the game and enjoy the world, the story, and the characters. They don't want to be stuck on chapter 2 and playing it 5 billion times and can't beat it because the game is hard as hell. I can at least appreciate that they're trying to give options to people that might not like Fire Emblem for the difficulty and for the hard as hell gameplay, you know, straight up. But, you know, they like strategy games and they like the characters and story and they want to see the story to the end. And if they want to play Phoenix mode, not losing their characters, and if they want to go to, you know, they want to have an easier time to get there just to experience that stuff, let them. It's not hurrying you guys. You guys can play on super hard difficulty, turn Phoenix mode off, and guess what? It's the same Fire Emblem game you've been playing since 1990, or in terms of American fans, if you've been importing stuff since 2003. You know, you still get that difficulty, you still get the gameplay, you still get all that stuff, the challenge. Just because they allow certain gamers to have an easier time with it doesn't take away from you. I love Fire Emblem, but the Fire Emblem fan base is full of a bunch of crying, whiny, elitist fanboys. Not saying all of you. I've met a lot of good Fire Emblem fans, a lot of enjoyable Fire Emblem fans I could discuss stuff with on YouTube and Facebook and whatnot on, you know, online. The fan base is cool. It's a bunch of cool people. Every fan base has their horrible things. Anime and cartoons and movies and TV shows and wrestling and everything. You find those people that just ruin it for everyone. And it's so annoying. And this video I basically mentioned is just my thoughts on the next. I'm going to basically mention it here, and I know it's going to be mentioned in the title before then. So if you're wondering why I went off rant, it's going to be about 3 things: my thoughts on Fire Emblem franchise as a whole, the franchise, where it's been, where it's going, and the fans and the backlash. What I want to see from Fire Emblem Switch, and that's it, I think. And basically, what I want to see from Fire Emblem Switch, I want to see the future of the series, and what I want to see from it is, like I basically mentioned, I want to see them blended together, because I want to see us come more together as fans and not be as divided. Because I haven't been in the fan base all that long, and maybe the divide started back when it came out to America and had Sacred Stones and Path of Radiance. But I've seen such a divide in the Fire Emblem fan base for a while now. I'm just kind of tiring to even, because you can't talk about Fire Emblem without someone coming online and someone mentioning, oh, the older days are better. No, the newer days are better. They've expanded the series. No, it's too anime now. Oh, that's too much Fire Emblem Sword characters in Smash Bros. So yeah, that's this video. I'm going to mention is that my thoughts on the Fire Emblem franchise and fans / split and debate. What I want to see from the Fire Emblem Switch game, which in general is I want to see Fire Emblem Switch bring the old and new fans together and find a way of mixing it together. So it's going to be a long title like that, whatever. But like I said, I'm sick and tired of seeing that stuff. I really am. And I've been a fan of the series for a long time. I talk about Fire Emblem a lot in my videos, and Fire Emblem is one of my favorite Nintendo franchises. Probably my top 5 alongside Smash Brothers, Pokemon, Zelda, and F-Zero, and throw in probably a Mario and whatnot. And there's and Kirby, and that's like my 5, 6 Xenoblade kind of top 6, 7, 8 type franchises from them. But I love Fire Emblem. I just love it for everything, and like the lows and the highs. Every game in the series has its ups and downs. My least favorite game in the series is Shadow Dragon, because the art style is horrible, and that's what drew me away from it. I wanted to play Marth's game, and I wish we would have got Heroes of Light and Shadow, because they improved the art style a lot in that game. It looked a lot better. I'm not saying that the art style takes away from it. It is a basic Fire Emblem. It is enjoyable, and I did enjoy it, and I want to go back to it because I never beat it. But that was one of the major things that took me away from that. But people then go, oh, their least favorite Fire Emblem game is this, or this, or this. And it's like, okay, you can have a least favorite, but you can't just say they immediately suck, or be, like, hating on them so much. Like, I don't hate Shadow Dragon, I just don't really like it because of that. But I love Path of Radiance, I love Radiant Dawn, and Sacred Stones, and Awakening, and Fates, and Shadows of Valentia, and 7, Rekken no Ken, is that what it's called, I think, in Japan. I love all Fire Emblem. I don't have, like, a Fire Emblem I hate. I want to play, Genealogy of the Holy War, or Thracia and everything. But those are in Japan, and I need to hope them and Roy's game and all that get maybe get remakes on the Switch or something eventually. I'm hoping. But before this video goes on too long, people, that is my thoughts on the Fire Emblem franchise and fan base and divide, and my thoughts on I want to see it come together. I want to see this series, fan base come together. I want Fire Emblem Switch to be that game, Fire Emblem 16, to be that game that finds what made the old fans love the series and what the new fans love the series and mix it together so both fan sides can, like it. And I think, the awesome characters and story with the difficulty options and the support system, which would be cool. Maybe marriages that don't result in children. I understand the idea of not having children, but I think the supports make the series. Supports are one of the best things of the series, and marrying off your units so they work better together on the field, if pair up is in there or not, I think that's a good feature, and I like seeing it because the support system adds so much character to these people instead of just seeing what the story gives them. Because think about this, people. There's a lot of people that join your army in Fire Emblem you don't see squat about outside of their introduction chapter, and then they mean nothing to the story. And then there's also characters that get nothing else afterwards anyways. They don't utilize these characters in the story, so you don't really see them. And if you just see them on the battlefield, knowing the generic storyline where they're going, and that's it. It's not a bad thing, but like what I love about the series is you get to see what characters like and dislike, how they connect to this person or that person. Are they scared? Are they happy? What do they like to eat? What are their hobbies? What are this? In my opinion, the support system is one of my favorite things from the series, and I don't know if you agree or disagree with me, but I'm sure some people would probably say it is one of the top features of the series. But I want to see Fire Emblem. I'm done with the complaining about the old fans, and the new fans, they can get a little bit much, but more so because talking about how this saved the series or this, and they entice the older fans too. So they're just as guilty, but I think the older fans are more guilty too. But getting out of how big of the divide Fire Emblem has been, how happy I'm about the Renaissance, and yada yada yada. I want to say this about Fire Emblem Switch. I'm hoping that it brings together the old and new fans, finds those difficulty options in the marriage and supports and the easier stuff and the characters and whatnot that draw in the fans, the newer games, on top of that challenging gameplay and, the fun characters and story and worlds that the older fans like, but allowing it to be an option so that same stuff doesn't scare away this stuff. Because think about it like this. If a lot of Fire Emblem elitists, and I'm going to say that term, got their way, the series would go back to a niche. It'd be a super hard as hell franchise, and it'd scare away all the newcomers that the series has gotten since 2012. The next Smash Brothers would have a lot less characters from it, which it truly deserves 5 to 6 characters. It's one of the franchises from Nintendo that's that diverse, that deserves that many characters. And I just want them to find that way, find that meaning, so it has the difficulty options in the Phoenix mode and the marriage and supports and the character customization and the My Castles and whatever the heck else, online stuff that the new fans like, but the challenging as hard as hell gameplay that made the series such a memorable game series since it came out in 1990 that the old fans want. Find a way to bring it and kind of keep that formula going after Fire Emblem 16, after the Switch game. Any Fire Emblem game forward should try to find a way to keep that formula that gets the new and old fans together back together and keep it going. Because that's the only way this series will thrive. It will not thrive going back to the olden days of just being its niche, hard as hell strategy RPG. And technically it won't thrive if it focuses on dividing the fan base as much. Eventually that ball will crack, that crystal ball will crack, and the series will fall if it doesn't find a way to blend these together, because the fan base may be that divided. I mean, no, it's going to be super successful. It's never going to hurt the franchise because it's become so successful now. It's one of Nintendo's top franchises now. But it's going to hurt the fan base in the end if it doesn't find a way to mend the distance between them. I want Fire Emblem Switch. And like I said, in my 5 list, I'm going to talk about what I specifically want to see in the gameplay and the setting and the world and the characters and the difficulty and all that stuff. This is just my overall thing. And I might mention it in that video too. I want to see them blend old and new. Older fans and newer fans, something that can bring everyone together back into their Fire Emblem grip of franchise, because we're all fans of the series, and I'd like to see us become more of a united base of fans in the future. And the complaints in the past and the issues with Fates and Awakening and Shadows of Valentia and the Japanese games that haven't been localized yet, and the series starting and Smash Bros. And everything. Hopefully we can distance ourselves from that so it's a better future for the series in the long run, not just in terms of the series itself, but in terms of the fans and all the spin-offs and stuff they do with the franchise going forward. And that is my video. I know it went on like 19 minutes here. My name is Sniper's Fun. Peace. Please subscribe if you want to. Have a lovely day. And Fire Emblem fans, let's just enjoy the series and hope for the best. And please, please, please stop these fanboy wars between you guys. I want us to enjoy the series for the right reasons, and instead of finding what differentiates us and separates us and just breaks us up. I want us to try to find peace with each other, and as hard as that is, and as impossible as that is, there's a chance for it with the Switch game. There's a chance for it with the series going forward. Maybe a Fire Emblem Warriors 2, maybe a Heroes 2, maybe something else. Maybe it'll be a spin-off with only Musha, or some other spin-off game, or maybe the characters will show up in Tekken, I don't know, or Soul Calibur. Maybe Soul Calibur hopefully come to the Switch, and then you can throw in Marth onto the game. Marth and the new character from this 16th game. That's it, and see you all later.